Hello everyone, my name is Daryl DePry. I will be your instructor at the College of Southern Nevada for your Art 101 course. I'm going to go over the supplies here. The supplies can be found on your syllabus. In the syllabus it talks about how we have made arrangements with local art supply stores in town here in Las Vegas. So that's Desert Art as well as Blick Art Supply. So these are the things you're going to need to be successful in this course. But let's talk about the textbook first. This is not going to be available at the art store, so this is something that you need to either get online. Sometimes the CSM bookstore will have it. Most of the time it is not in stock. But I highly recommend getting the ebook from the publisher. And by doing that, the ebook actually has embedded within the textbook the videos that accompany this actual hard copy. If you do decide to get the hard copy, you'll do it for reasons of access. Perhaps your financial aid or veteran stuff is where you actually have to get it, or you maybe want to start your own library. When you get your textbook, there'll be a scratch-off barcode, and then, number code. You'll basically go to the website for the publisher. You would input that code after setting up your own account with them, which is free, and then that will entitle you to access of the said accompanying videos. I myself will also make YouTube videos that you will also watch to gain better clarity and ideas of how to do things in this course. So this is the textbook. Alright, here's the art supplies. So in this, let's talk about the paper first. You may either get an 8x9, a 9x12 sketch pad, or you may get an 11x14 sketch pad. It's really kind of based on, at the time, what the art store has in stock. So sometimes this size will change. Not a big deal. I actually find that the larger one is better. And then you're also going to get a pad of the 18x24 drawing paper. So these supplies will be basically your kit form. Now, if this course is being taught in the classroom, you may not be getting this. We might actually be providing that paper to you. Okay? So that's the paper. Alright, and then you have your actual supplies here. I'm going to roll this out. So you'll probably get some sort of device to put all these in. I usually just use a cigar box. You can use a Ziploc bag. You can use this handy little tote bag that they give you. But there's going to be a variety of different supplies in here, and some of you may not know what some of this stuff is. Alright, so you're first going to get your graphite pencils. Okay, so graphite pencils may be termed as the lead, but there's actually no lead in graphite pencils anymore. There hasn't been for quite a while now, hundreds of years. So it's graphite. On the actual pencil itself, there will be a number as well as a letter, and those basically define the scale of the pencil. So if it's an H pencil, H standing for hard, it imparts a light line. The higher the number gets in H, the harder the graphite is, and the lighter that line is imparted. In the B stands for bold. The graphite becomes more and more pure form in the pencil, and as that number gets higher, up to 9B, the pencil is very soft, but it imparts a very dark line. You should also get some sort of an ink pen. It'll be a gel ballpoint pen. We'll be using that a lot. You'll get 2 charcoal pencils. They have the same grading system as your graphite pencils. The only difference is the color of the actual pencil, as well as having charcoal in the pencil and not graphite. There'll be this device. It's basically a sanding board. With this, you can actually use it on your pencils to customize the tip by sharpening it in this manner. You can actually take a knife and extend the tip of this so that it's more actually graphite out here, and then you can actually use this to then alter that tip, either making it very blunt or very sharp, depending on the kind of line that you want to make with that particular drawing pencil. So kind of a handy tool, but it's essentially sandpaper attached to a piece of Medite in the form of this handle. You'll be getting 4 different erasers. So one will be in a pen form, and it's basically a click eraser or a retractable eraser. So I'll have the white eraser inside. This one will be really great for high details when you're determining like highlights, diluting an area, but good for small areas. You'll have the ubiquitous pink pearl eraser. You'll have the Mars plastic white eraser. And then finally you'll have the Kneaded rubber eraser. Okay. You'll be using this rubber eraser, the Kneaded one, a lot in the when we get to charcoal and value. You should also be getting a pencil sharpener. He'll be double-barreled, one for kind of a larger sharpening scenario, as well as the standard size pencil opening. And then you can sharpen your pencils in that manner. You'll be getting either this or a version of this. These are in the form of like a pen or a pencil, so ergonomically you can hold it like that. These are basically blending stumps. It's compressed paper that's been rolled and then pressed tightly into this form. You see how they're both sharp at both ends, so you could use one for graphite, one for charcoal, one for your pastel, and the other one for the other colored pastel. So, and then you can always sharpen these. You can make them more blunt, and you can actually take a knife to them. But however, they do not, because of the size of these, they do not fit in your sharpener. So you'll have to use a knife or something. You could actually use them on your sandpaper block. So those are blending stumps. You'll have a little package wrapped up, and inside will be your 2 new pastels. One will be a sienna or sanguine, and then one will be black. So for the online course, this is what you'll be getting for your charcoal. Basically, it's a version of charcoal. It's a little bit more compressed. There's just a little bit of oil in it, kind of like a Conte crayon. And it's not as messy as the typical charcoal that maybe you might be more familiar with, and the sticks are actually bigger. So when we get to these, this will be kind of an interesting way, but since they're in a stick form, they're not in this pencil form. They'll be kind of rudimentary and almost, I don't know, caveman-like, how you're holding it and using them. Alright, you'll be getting a ruler, and you'll be using that to measure. If you don't know how to use a ruler, please let me know, but it has increments on it of US standard inches, as well as the metric on the other side. So those of you who are international students or more used to the metric system, one side of it is lined up in that manner. And then we'll be getting this pack of willow charcoal or soft sketching charcoal. There'll be a variety of sizes in here. So this kind of particular charcoal, it's very soft and brittle, and it's excellent for sketching. So when we do get to value and using charcoal, you'll be using this. There's also some longer pieces in here as well. So there's quite a variety pack that you'll be receiving with this particular kind of charcoal. Alright, so those are your supplies for this course. They are mandatory, so you do have to get them at some point. If you get to the art store and the actual kits like this that have been put together are out, what you can do is use the list that's on your syllabus to then go to either Desert Art, Blick, you can go to Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, any of those other places and put together your own kit at your own leisure. But you will need all of these particular drawing supplies to participate and actually conduct yourself in the drawing exercises that we'll be having weekly. Okay? So thanks for watching, and if you have any other questions about this stuff, just let me know. There was a couple of things I did want to show you that will be necessary, or that may make things easier. Let me move these out of the way. Is a drawing board. Especially if you're doing the online course, the drawing board affords you a large surface you can attach your paper to these clips, and then you can actually lean it against a surface like that. But it makes it easier as a surface to draw on, especially if you have limited say table space at your house. The other thing that'll be really handy is a roll of the painter's masking tape, the blue. You can get it at Blick. They have this at Home Depot. Sometimes they have it at 99-cent store. So there's a lot of different places that have this. What's interesting about the blue tape is that it's not as sticky as the typical manila colored masking tape. So this will actually not tear your paper when you pull it up. The other thing you might want to consider is an X-Acto knife or a pen knife. And it's essentially in the form of a pen, but it has a blade on it, so it actually doesn't draw, it does cut. So you can see the blade that's on there. And this will be helpful when you go to make your viewfinder. And I'll discuss the viewfinder when we move a little bit further into the class. We'll get there till probably about week number 4. You'll need that. Okay. The other thing that might be handy, I won't actually show you any because everybody has a different taste. There's all sorts of different sizes, but you might want to consider an easel. You can get them online from like Amazon. You can get it online from Blick, Michaels, all these different places. They actually have them in town at those places. The range or the cost of them ranges from $30 all the way up to thousands of dollars, depending on how well you want it built and made out of a particular kind of wood. Perhaps you could, if you're handy with wood, you could just make a simple one out of 2x4s. So an easel may be helpful, and you'll notice that in my demonstrations, when I do the virtual online or in class, I'm always at an easel. And the reason for that is it's easier to film it and show it to a group of people versus just on a table at a drawing board. Okay? Alright guys, so that pretty much covers all the supplies that you need to do well in the course. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.